We'll call to order the Board of Zoning Appeals. Keith, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Here.
Joe Crow.
Here.
Jerry Sartain. Here. Joe Machado.
Here.
Michael Rather.
Here.
Jared Barrett.
Here.
Zane Cantrell.
Present.
We do have a quorum and all voting members are present, sir.
Okay, all regular members are here. We'll be voting on the items that come before us. You have already the minutes of the August the 10th meeting that we had and August the 17th meeting. Are there any changes or additions to those minutes? Now, I'll accept a motion to approve both of them so we won't have to go back through each one. Do I have a motion? We have a motion.
I move.
Joe,
I move.
have a second. Jerry. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, like sign. The minutes are approved. Let me welcome each of you here and kind of explain how we will go through this today. We will ask our staff to give us a report on each item that we have. After that, those of you who have a request before us, we will ask you to come forward to the podium and give us any additional information that you might have, or you may have some questions from the board at that time. After that, we will have a public hearing for those of you who would like to speak on the requests that we have. The first item we have on the agenda today is a request by the Milton Church of Christ, and they are requesting a variance relief for a 48 square foot internally illuminated sign. What do you have on that, please?
Application 2011-54 involves the property located at 12,155 Las Casas Pike. It's the Milton Church of Christ. They're located in a residential 15 zone, and the lot size is approximately 2 acres. They are seeking variance relief to allow a 48 square foot internally illuminated sign with more than 25% changeable copy area on a property located within the R15 zone. They are using the existing sign structure that you'll see in the future photos that I'm going to present. However, the sign size is being enlarged to 48 square feet, so they need a 8 square foot variance for the sign size as well as the internal illumination. Because they are proposing internal illumination, they need to obtain a variance. The existing sign on the property now has internal illumination, but a variance had not been approved for the internal illumination when it was initially installed. And as we have a limitation for changeable copy. It was intended for digital copy, but the regulation in our code, and it does not differentiate between digital and the regular changeable copy that you see on all church signs or any signs that has a changeable copy area. So we are seeking a variance from that provision, or Milton Church of Christ. And so this is an aerial of the property. This is the church property. It's developed, and you'll see the parking area. The sign will be located in the existing location. This is the sign that they are seeking to replace, but not the sign structure. So the brick base will remain. The sign will be slightly higher, but that height, the proposed height, will fall within the established height limitations for signage. We also posted our zoning sign on the property, alerting the surrounding area that application has been filed for it. And these are surrounding areas. So even though the sign variance itself does not meet the criteria for variance, we do have special sign variance criteria. We found that if the board decided to approve the sign, that it wouldn't approval would not be detrimental to the surrounding area. I mean, there is an existing illuminated sign that it's going to be located on the existing base, and we've not received any phone calls regarding the request. And this is the proposed sign, what it will look like once installed. So you see that it will be slightly higher than existing. It will have internal illumination and just the dimensions of the sign. The orange box indicates the location of it in relation to the site, and the applicant also supplied us more scaled drawings to indicate the overall dimensions of the sign. And that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here from the Church of Christ? Would you please come forward, please? If you'll come to the podium, give us your name and any additional information you'd like to share.
Sonny DeSoto, and as he said, I represent Milton Church of Christ.
Do we have any questions? Do you have any additional information other than
No, sir. What's
we've
shown
received?
is correct. That's what we'll go with.
Thank you.
One question, Zane.
Joe, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is this going, the lights, are they going to be on some type of timer where you can turn them off?
It is on a timer, yes, sir. It's
What-
currently on a timer, and it will be on a timer, and my understanding is it's timed to go off at 10 p.m. at night.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. Do I have a motion on it?
I make a motion to approve, Mr.
Have a
Chairman.
motion that be approved. Do we have a second? Second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machado,
Yes?
Jerry Sartain, Zane Cantrell.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Okay, the next item we have is a request by Kenneth and Judith Creek, and they are requesting a variance relief to allow 700 square foot additional detached accessory.
Okay.
What do you have on that?
Application 2011-55 filed by Kenneth and Judith Creek involves the property located at 745 Swamp Road. It's an 11.77 acre parcel located in the residential 15 zone. The applicant is seeking variance relief to allow an additional 700 square feet of detached accessory structure area in the R15 zoning district. The applicant is currently building their residence, their future residence on the property. They would like to have a detached garage on the property that they can store their personal items as well as an RV. And because it's going to exceed the maximum size of 2,500 that's permitted outright for detached accessory structures, they would like a 3,200 square foot building for their personal storage. And that is why they're appearing before you. So there is a residence being constructed on the property. It's a very deep property, and the house is proposed to be 1,100 feet off of the property. And this detached accessory structure will be located towards the rear, and I'll show you a graphic indicating the approximate location of the structure. We have received phone calls on this request. No one has indicated that they were in opposition, and in fact, one gentleman indicated that he lived further down the road and would be willing to sign a petition in favor of the request, that he had no problems with the request as it was described. So this is the existing property. You can see there's construction material, but it's pretty far away. And adjacent properties and the surrounding area. So most of the properties out here are large rural type tracts, and you probably would see detached structures that are not residential but typically agriculture. So if it were to be an agricultural building, it would be permitted by right or exempt from the size regulations. But because it's for personal storage, it has to go before the board if it exceeds the size. We posted a sign on the property, and And the structure, if you see the blue shading, which may not be very clear on the screen, I spoke with the applicant. It's their intentions to stay outside of the flood zone, and that's the open space towards the rear of the property where they want to locate the structure. And that concludes our presentation.
Okay, do we have someone here representing this request? Will come around, please.
My name's Kenneth Creek, and like she explained very well, I might add, everything that we were planning on doing. And you stole my thunder. That's exactly what I was
Wow.
going to say. But that's pretty much it.
Well, let's see if we have any questions. Any questions?
Just want to follow up. This, with the storage shed, this is to house an RV?
Yes, sir, and,
Okay.
and several other things such as a tractor. And,
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. We have a motion on it.
I make a motion be approved.
I have a motion to be approved, second by Jerry.
Second.
Well, I saw you going to speak out. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machota,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
The next item we have is a request by Betty Sullivan, who is requesting a variance relief to allow an additional 480 square feet. And what do you have on that?
Application 2011-56, filed by Betty J. Sullivan, involves the property located at 4581 Cynthia Lane. It's a property that measures less than 1 acre in the R15 zone. Ms. Sullivan is seeking variance relief to allow an additional 480 square feet of detached accessory structure area in the R15 zone. The existing property does not have any other detached accessory structures. Because this property is less than an acre, the amount of square footage for detached accessory structures is limited to 1,200 square feet. Ms. Sullivan would like to construct a building that is 40 by 42 and will measure 1,680 square feet. We did not receive any phone calls regarding this application. This is the existing site, an aerial of the property, and according to the materials that we received, at the end of this paved area, would the house or the structure would be located, and I have a graphic showing it, an approximate area as to where they're going to locate it. And it's for personal storage of an RV, if I didn't already mention that. And we posted a sign on the property. These are surrounding properties. This is existing residence. And you can see this is kind of like taken from the side of a property. You can actually see Shelbyville Pike from this perspective, from her property. And you can see that the camper trailer or the RV back here and some other items, and I'm assuming that those are the items she would like to store inside the building. And staff is just guessing that's the approximate location. Where should we place it? So maybe the applicant's here and they can confirm that.
Okay, do we have the applicant here, someone here? Would you please come around, please? Would you give us your name and any additional information you'd like to share?
No, we got a pretty good big area in the back. The only thing is we moved this from one county over here with the realtor saying it would be okay, and then of course we checked with everybody else and we're a little bit bigger than they allowed. But we still have a lot of backyard left. It's just for an RV and a truck and a boat. And we have a big detention pond in behind us, so I don't think anybody will ever build back there.
What is
There
the
are a
height
lot of
of
RV
this
storages
building?
in there.
You've got to get that RV in it. What's the height of it?
Richard, what's the height in the middle? 12 foot on the wall, and it's like a tier. This is
Okay.
where. I got a picture if you'd like to see it.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone that'd like to speak on it. Close the public hearing. We have a motion on it.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to be approved. Got a second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machado,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
The next item we have is a request by Bobby Reeves, a request a conditional use permit to allow establishment of another accessory structure. We have a lot of those today, don't we?
Definitely.
Okay.
Application.
What do you have on there?
Okay. Application 2011-57 filed by Bobby Reeves involves property located at Morgan Road, adjacent to his residential property, which is 3962 Morgan Road. The lot size is a 2-acre parcel. It's currently vacant, and the applicant would like to erect an accessory structure prior to a principal structure that exceeds the 1,800 square foot maximum limit for detached accessory structures. Of course, the new provisions we've adopted within the last year and a half allow for someone to appear before the board and ask for approval for the detached accessory structure prior to the principal. This is unique where the applicant actually lives next door. This is property directly adjacent to his property, and it's just, it looks as though it's part of his estate, despite the fact that it's on its own lot and that particular portion is vacant, as you will see by the pictures. This is the property in question, and the applicant would like to erect the building to store personal items, and it will measure 2,400 square feet. And we have received informational calls, as well as we have distributed 2 letters, one indicating, or both indicating concerns about the proposed use and possible future exterior storage of the property. These indicated that they were initially against the application, and so we passed those out for your review at the pre-meeting. Apart from that, staff has recommended conditions that are found in our zoning resolution that limit the use of detached accessory structures on lots without a principal, and they cannot be used for living quarters, commercial activities, or storage for a business that is located off premises. And staff also processed the variance request, and if the board wishes to grant the variance, to include that in their motion as a condition to allow them the ability to exceed the square footage limitation. This area also is in a rural area surrounded by large agricultural type tracts under ownership. His properties are probably the smallest in that general area. We posted a sign on the property. This is a photo looking at the adjacent property that is directly adjacent to the vacant property that he will build the structure on, and I believe that that is where the letters, that was the property owner that the letters came from.
This is at the back of the property, right?
This is actually across Morgan Road.
Okay.
So it's just large.
Back in those trees.
And this is the existing property that he would like to place it is fairly wooded in this area.
Okay.
So, and you can see the applicant's house to the left. And I zoomed out so you could get both of his properties. His house is directly adjacent to it on the other small tract, but all the other tracts surrounding it are in excess of 20 acres, much more than that. And that's the approximate location. That's the guess as to where it will be placed on the site. And that concludes our presentation.
Okay, do we have someone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please. Just give us your name and any additional information you'd like.
My name's Bobby Reeves. I'm the owner of the property. I do have a letter from all the neighbors that attached to me that they signed.
Give that to our secretary.
That touched my property, you know, every corner that's touched. They all agreed. They said it was okay with them.
Now, you plan on using this as storage. Everything
Yes,
would
sir.
be under cover.
Yes, sir. I have some antique tractors, and then my son, we pull them. Have a couple of old cars. At present time, I'm storing them at a friend of mine's house. I don't have any room to put them, so you know, and I'd like to put them in my, you know, at my place where I could have to run across 10 miles of woods to, you know, work on them, you know. But
okay,
just storage. Just want to put everything at home.
I just have a question, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Reeves, with this facility, you don't plan on doing any work on other people's stuff. In other words, you wouldn't be, other than hobby or whatever, you wouldn't be running any type of business out there, automotive or otherwise?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Joe.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. This letter right here, are these the neighbors on both sides of you that signed this?
Yes, sir.
Is there any neighbor between you and these people?
No, sir. I have three. Have Danny Travis.
And were these are the house right and left?
Yes, sir.
Anybody in front of you?
There's nobody in front of me. No, sir.
And you're not going to do any work for the public on automobile?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Joe.
You're locating the building kind of in the center of the property, so you really don't intend on building a residential house on this property, right?
No, sir, I do not. Just the building only.
Well, I mean, you know, it looks like to me you would put that size of a building further back on the property. Would you have any objections to moving it further back on the property?
Well, if I move it any further back, there's a when I had it cleaned up, there's a drain there that drains the water, keeps the water from running down the property. And it's really, really rocky any further back. He really couldn't. It'd be hard to build anything on the rear back of it.
One other question: if you're going to work on cars, vehicles, what about outside storage? No outside storage?
No, sir. I want to put everything inside. That's the reason I want to build a bigger building.
I think we ought to add that to the no outside storage.
Yeah, no outside storage. You know, I have one old truck sitting outside next door. It's a 41 Dodge truck, flatbed. I want to put it inside the building. And my gooseneck trailer and all my equipment. I just don't want it out. And my old tractors.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve. I'm trying to read all the conditions that were already recommended by staff. I'm not sure if they're in here, Daniel, but I want to make sure that we do include it in, with my motion that there be no outside storage.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Yes, he wants to include.
Is that a motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Call a roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machado,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Thane Cantrell.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
The next item is a request by Con Centelbong, whose request for a conditional use permit to allow a hair salon. What do you have on that, please?
Application 2011-59, filed by Khan Sunavong, involves the property located at 2185 Almaville Road. It's a .8 acre parcel located in the R15 zone. The applicant is seeking conditional use permit to allow the establishment of a hair salon as a major home-based business in the R15 zone. And the applicant indicates that the business hours would be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. She's not proposing any employees. She plans to see one client at a time. And staff found that the proposed request meets the criteria for the home-based businesses, major home-based businesses. The applicant lives, if you see the bright green line, that's the city limits of Smyrna. And she's directly, or her property is off of Almaville Road and adjacent to a fire station. There are no other homes located to the east of her, and across the street, and this is off of the driveway off of Almaville Road, a photo. Across the street, you will see commercial industrial style buildings and a commercial shopping center. So she's on a very busy highway. And this brick building here that you see in the photo, that is, I believe that's the fire station. So we have received several phone calls, informational. No one indicated that they had a problem with the request. And we also received a phone call in favor of the request. And we posted a sign on the property. And that is the adjacent property to the east. This is her residence, and that's where clients will drive up to. They will not have to back out onto Almaville Road. There's plenty of turnaround area for people exiting the property. And that's the aerial of the property, and that concludes our presentation.
Okay, do we have anyone here representing this request? You'll come around to the podium. Give us your name and any additional information.
Hi, my name is Khan Sunivong. Just would love to have a salon at home.
Okay, do we have any questions? We think we understand what you're requesting, so thank you. You may be seated.
Well, thank you.
We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. We have a motion on it.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to be approved.
Second.
The two Joes. Got a second?
No.
Jerry, second. You beat him to the punch. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machado,
Yes.
Jerry Thirteen,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Well, have we forgotten anything? That's a quick meeting.
Yes.
Thank you, all of you, for your cooperation. We did this in record time. We are adjourned.